Okay. So now we're going to go into, we do this survey and maybe they talked about, I want to learn how money works. I want to learn to get kids in college education. Say this particular person is interested in getting a better safety for their money and they want to retire at 60. So I lead off with these questions. So with this information on the survey, I go on to this presentation, the Understand How Money Works presentation. So I'm going to look at that and hey, Bianca, have you ever thought about retirement? Have you ever really thought about how you're going to retire?
Most people probably say no.
So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to be like, well, in this one, you said you want to retire at, say, 60, okay? And you want a better safety for your money. So let me show you how you retire at 60 years old. Let me show you what normally Americans do. Number one, you use Social Security. You let the government take care of your retirement. Probably a bad idea. Do you think you can live a very comfortable life off Social Security?
No.
The next thing is you let your employer take care of your pensions. Do you currently have a pension?
No. They're becoming obsolete.
Absolutely. So your employer is no longer taking care of you, right?
No, they're not.
So it kind of lifts number three, which is personal savings yourself. We're forced to save our money into our own hand, put money into our own hands for our retirement. So if you look at the three-legged stool of retirement, it's not working. So now we have to rely on personal savings. So let me show you how you're supposed to save. World Financial Group is our company. We're trying to build a better financial foundation for Americans all across the United States. We want financial security to not be a dream. I believe financial security needs to be a priority in a lot of Americans' lives. So I'm going to show you. We're going to teach you how money works. Are you interested? Awesome. So you got to take care of your responsibilities while building wealth. And a lot of people don't really understand the actual theory on how you are supposed to build wealth and how to retire. Most people have never really thought about that. So we're going to break it down very simply. If you don't have a formula to how to build wealth, you'll never build wealth. So there is a formula. You have money, you let it grow using time. You put it through a positive or negative rate of return, hopefully positive.
Yeah.
You minus inflation, and then you minus all the taxes that you pay. You got to pay taxes on everything.
Whether before or after.
What's left is your wealth. If you are not positive when you do this calculation in your life, you are not building wealth, you're actually losing wealth. So the faster you understand this formula, the faster you can establish your wealth. The next thing is the X curve. The X curve is one of my favorite concepts because this really shows you the exact theory on how we believe an American should retire.
Yeah.
So when you're young, you start off with the least amount of money you've ever had in life. You're concerned about taking care of your family. You have a lot of responsibility. You are going to one day have a family. You're going to buy a house. You're going to have a car. You're going to have to save up a lot of money for retirement. You're going to have to pay for your kids' college education if you can. You got a lot of big responsibilities that you got to pay off.
Yeah.
But you don't have any money. So we're trying to, when you get older, you obviously want to work harder and you want to build wealth, get paid more, right? What a lot of people don't do, though, is they don't decrease their responsibility. Wouldn't you like to be older, you have the most wealth you've ever had and the least amount of responsibility? You'd probably be a very secure retiree, right? Wouldn't you? A lot of people don't do that. And a lot of people actually are even poorer in retirement and they still have a lot of responsibility. Imagine if you still had a mortgage payment, you still had kids to take care of when you retired. And you're really not retired anymore, right?
No, I'm still working. They're not on.
So a lot of people, when they build their wealth, you make money, but they don't ever spend the money on decreasing responsibility. A lot of people will spend their money and they'll buy a new car. They'll buy a lot of toys. They'll buy a boat. Will a boat take care of your responsibility? But if you use that money and say you bought a house, when you finish paying off your house, don't you have a paid off house? You live rent-free in your retirement?
Right.
If you put your money, instead of buying a new car, you put it towards your retirement. When you're older, you never have to work again, right? So a lot of people spend their money on things that do not decrease their responsibility. When you should be using this wealth and paying off your responsibility so that you are the wealthiest you've ever been and you're the least responsible. You don't have any obligations anymore. You get to enjoy your wealth. So if you can use this concept in your life and use your money to decrease your responsibility instead of buying things that might even increase your responsibility. Like buying a boat, you probably have to buy, you have another payment.
Finance it.
You buy 3 cars, now you have another car you don't need to pay for. all of a sudden now you have more responsibility than you started out with. The next thing is we're talking about the 4 cornerstones of a strong financial future. We believe every family should have all 4 of these cornerstones to have a secure one. You need to have your money grow. You also need your money to be safe. You want your money when the market crashes that you have money there, wouldn't you? Wouldn't that be nice? The next thing is a tax advantage. A lot of Uncle Sam, it's always inevitable, they're always going to take a piece of the pie. But you'd be surprised, I'm sure you've had your paychecks and you've got like a $2,000-$3,000 paycheck and you've seen $300, $400, $500 get taken out. Does that make you happy?
No.
A lot of people don't know. Like, if you were to retire and you had a 401k, did you know you had to pay taxes on that?
Well, I mean, I didn't, but a lot of people don't know.
Yeah. If you had $1 million in your 401k, did you know that you have to pay one of the highest tax rates in the United States, which is like around 40-something%?
It's like after taxes and fees, penalties,
depending, yeah, you could pay up to 40-50% of that. Imagine you work your butt off and you make $1 million and you pay $450,000 on it. If I could show you how to protect your money from Uncle Sam, would you be interested? Mm-hmm. And then the next thing is protection. A lot of people, you work so hard because you want to save up money for your family. But what happens if something happens to you and you don't get to put money into this investment? If you have a 401k, say you're 30 years old, you've only been working for a company for 5 years. How big is your 401k? $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 with that? If you pass away, what's $20,000 going to do for your wife and kids?
Barely cover the funeral.
Right. How long will
if
that
they
last?
have access to it.
And now you just left your wife with all of this responsibility now to raise a family, pay off the mortgage that you signed off for.
Yeah.
You want to protect it. Imagine if you could have all 4 of those in your retirement plan. Would you be interested in getting all 4 of these cornerstones in your financial future? So we're going to show you. We're going to show you how. But we're going to show you with all 3 of these concepts, very, very simple concepts, but very powerful. You can build a successful financial future by applying these things. So we're going to talk about the power of compound interest, the rule of 72. We're going to show you this rule Albert Einstein invented. It's an equation that basically shows you the power of compound interest. You take 72, you divide it by any interest rate, you'll get the amount of years it takes for your money to double. So you get to visualize it. So you have your money in the bank account. I'm going to be really nice. I'm going to say you get a 1% interest rate in the bank account, which is unheard of. You probably get less than that.
I know, that is actually really nice though.
So you get a 1% interest rate. So you have $10,000 in your bank account. 72 years from now, you'll have $2,000, $20,000. Is that all that exciting?
Not really, but I mean, compared to today, it's like, what, 0.08 if you're wealthy.
Exactly. Even that's it. But you're probably not jumping. If you had a 4% rate of return, 4% rate of return, your money doubles every 18 years. So you have 10 grand, you're 29 years old. By the time you're 65, you're 40. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
But let's look a little bit further down the line. If you get an 8% rate of return, your money doubles every 9 years. You turn that one $10,000 deposit into $160,000. Does that sound more likely? You can magically find a way to get yourself a 12% rate of return. You divide that by 72, your money doubles every 6 years. You now have $640,000 at age 65. From one $10,000 deposit, you pretty much funded. Do you know anyone who has $640,000 in the bank account?
No. At any age, no.
Wouldn't you want to learn how to use compound interest for you? A lot of people don't understand how powerful you can make a little money turn to a lot of money. Over time and with an interest rate. A lot of people, you know what? They understand compound interest, but they understand it working against them. They understand it through something called credit card debt.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had a 12% for a credit card is actually pretty good.
If you were like if you were the credit card company, you see.
Exactly. So imagine if you were you had a credit card debt of $10,000 and it was growing at 12%. At age 65, you now owe $640,000 on a credit card. Does that sound that fun anymore?
No, it doesn't.
So if you look at that, the banks, the credit unions have been using compound interest for them for years to build their wealth. Wouldn't you want to learn how the companies that manage finance, how they invest their money? Wouldn't you want to use that for yourself instead of being abused by it? So we're going to teach families how to use compound interest for them, not against them. And then we're going to look at where do you put your money? So this is a 20-year annualized returns by asset class. Basically, this is the amount of, if you put your money in this asset, this is the average rate of return you get for 20 years. So this is 1993 to 2012. If you put your money in the S&P 500, which is basically the equivalent of the top 500 companies in the United States stock market, the cream of the crop, you get 8.2% last 20 years. Not bad. Your money will double just like in that last graph every 9 years. Bonds, you get an average rate of 6.3%. Your money would double every 11 years. We're looking at CDs, certificate of deposits. Your money will double every 22, 23 years. Put your money in your house, you pay off your mortgage, you really don't gain. If you really think about it, homes grow up and down, but if you average it out, last 20 years, homes have averaged 2.7%.
Yeah.
Exactly. You'd get 23, 25 years to double your money. Exactly. If you're an average investor with no understanding of how money works, you get about 2.3% if you're lucky and you don't lose your money.
Wow. You might as well go to the casino.
Exactly. If you have a 2.3% growth, your money doubles every 36 years. Are you too excited?
No, that's too long.
So where's your money invested? If you put it in the bank account, you're getting less than 0.1%.
Oh yeah. You're lucky. Like I said, you're lucky to get 0.8.
Exactly.
That's if you got.
So where do you put your money in? You ask this, you ask the clients, like, where do you put your money in? Where would you like to put your money in? Would you rather put your money here or here? And then another thing is, well, even if you grew that money, is your investment in a taxable account, a tax-deferred account, or a tax-free account? Would you want to pay, let's say you managed to get $640,000. If you're at a 40% tax bracket, you're paying over $240,000, Uncle Sam. Would you rather pay taxes here at $10,000, or would you rather pay taxes here at $640,000? Exactly. Here, you pay tax, you get a 20% rate of tax rate probably here. You pay $2,000 in taxes. Here, would you rather pay taxes on the seed or the harvest? Exactly. So we can teach you that. Let me show you. A lot of people don't understand where they put their money at. There's actually 3 tax categories in the United States. There's tax now. Probably put your money in, you probably recognize this, checking, savings accounts, CDs, stocks and mutual funds. Tax later. These are your employer retirement plans, your 401k, your IRA, your annuity, your pensions. A lot of people don't understand tax exempts. You have your Roth IRA, college savings funds usually tax exempt, municipal bonds, health savings accounts, long-term care benefit, and life insurance. Those are all asset classes that you put your money in them, and they will grow based off this. This will be taxed every year, and when you withdraw it, this will be taxed in the very end when you withdraw the money. This will be taxed in the very beginning, but not different way that you classify it. So we have a solution for people. We have a solution for families with something we call the Financial Foundation Index Universal Life Product. What an Index Universal Life Product can provide is a death benefit. So remember, we're talking about responsibility. Mm-hmm. You are going to have a family one day. You're going to have a house. You're going to have a lot of responsibility. If you buy a life insurance policy, you decrease your responsibility right off the bat. You might not see it yet, but you will need that life insurance to decrease that responsibility later in life. So you get a death benefit that protects your family in case something happens to you, protects your assets. Now you have growth potential. Your money in your IUL can grow. It's got tax advantages. Life insurance is usually generally tax deferred and tax free. And then of course you have downside protection. So your money never experiences a negative loss. So let me explain to you the 4 key features of the Financial Foundation IUL. So there are 2 index accounts that invested in 2 stock market indexes. They have strong growth potential. They can help outpace inflation. You have a guaranteed minimum interest rate, or a floor, which brings safety. Your money can never go lower than your floor. You get a federal income tax-free death benefit to help protect your family in case someone passes. And then you get tax-free loans and withdrawals and tax deferral on any earnings. You have also tax-free transfers to help reduce the effect of taxes, even mitigate it. So I'm going to show you how it works. You have multiple opportunities for growth potential with multiple account options. You probably want a lot of options in life, so we're going to give you a couple. And then we're going to show you the power of a guaranteed floor. So here's an account floor and current cap. So let's say you put your money in something called the global index account. You're going to invest your money into the global market, the Hang Seng, the Euro stock, and the S&P 500. You get a conglomerate mixture of all 3. you can get up to a 15% cap, which means you can go and grow your money up to 15% if the stock market goes up 15%. If it goes 20%, you can only get up to that 15, so they cap you.
Yeah.
But in exchange for that, they give you that floor of 0.75. So that basically means your money can never go lower than 15. You can never go higher than 50%, never go lower than 0.75. So if the stock market does negative 50 across the globe, you will get 0.75% in your return. This is S&P 500. You want to invest just in America, you have 13.75, same floor. Or you can put yourself into a basic interest account, gets 2%. 2% higher than the bank account, right?
Because it's a lot higher.
Exactly. So Matt, you can put your money into guaranteed or accounts that have very high potential for growth. The global index market has averaged 9.56% for the last 20 years. S&P 500 has done 8.5 something. Exactly. Exactly. The floor is actually the most powerful part. Then another thing is what happens if you get sick? So if you pass away, you leave a death benefit and life insurance. You grow old, you can grow the same amount. What if you get sick? So do you know anyone who's ever been through long-term care?
No. Well, I mean.
Have you ever met a caregiver before?
Yeah, I've met a caregiver.
They get paid by actually long-term care insurance or out of pocket from the actual client. Average long-term care expense is usually around $3,000 to $7,000 a month in the United States. Imagine you're retired and you now have to spend $3,000 to $7,000 for a nurse to take care of you. On top of everything else. Exactly. So eligibility for this benefit. If you are chronically ill, if you cannot bathe, you cannot eat, you cannot control your bladder, you can't go to the restroom, you can't dress yourself, you can't move out of bed, you can get the minimum death benefit, monthly benefit of $500 a month, or the maximum. The choice is yours. Get 2% of the long-term care death benefit amount. So if you got a $500,000 life insurance policy, you'd be able to take out $10,000 a month to take care of your long-term expense. Would that cover most of your long-term care needs? Absolutely. You could get the best care possible. So unfortunately, with these kind of programs, we have to qualify you. We have to gather a lot of information. We've got to see if that's the right choice for you, if we can even get you, a plan like that, something that can grow, such as that program. Do you mind if we actually spend a few minutes? I can write down some information and see if we can qualify you. After we get your information, we can sit down another appointment. We can follow up a follow-up appointment, and basically we can show you some of the products, see if you qualify for the plan. I'll have an actual financial advisor come out, and they'll actually discuss your options with you. Is that okay? Perfect. This thing has your information, you have children, you have goals that they want to do. They have combined income, net, gross, discretionary, monthly expenses, break down their assets, break down their liabilities, if they have a mortgage, how much money can they comfortably put aside lump sum each month, what kind of life insurance need that they need using the DIME method. You set up a follow-up date, we have the client sign. With this information, I can go in there, I can run an illustration that's good for their family, based off their debt and their liabilities, how much they can reasonably put away. Then once we show them the plan and they like it, you just fill out this form, and I can just write a life insurance application like that.
And that's pretty much the first step of signing them up for the product.
That's it. If they can't qualify for an IUL, I can go down to different companies, different products. I could do a term insurance if they don't have a lot of money. I can get the mutual funds if they're far more aggressive. I can do rollovers through the retirement account, whatever works. Yep. So this kind of works out, and that was another 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, that was all Walmart.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
So with that one, I can do either a sales presentation. I can be like, all right, I can show you some of the different products out here. And you don't even need a license for this. It's all compliant material. You're not selling anything yet.
No, you're just informing and educating.
You're informing, gathering information. Next appointment, you can do something. Yeah. And you can do this in 15 minutes. You can literally go up to someone in 15 minutes and be like, how many of these people have families?
I think only 2 of them don't. 3 of them don't.
We can sit down and be like, interested in a product easily.
Yeah.
Show them. And the thing is, how many of them are not happy with their job or could be potentially interested in making more money on the side?
At least half of them.
At least half.
Yeah.
Come on, Charlie. Are you done?
Almost
done. Okay, we practice together. You and I.
Sure.
Yeah. Because Joyce practiced yesterday.